But in general, I was expecting them to play a little more passive and play around the tanks. And actually, we got a very aggressive tank in XQC. He was making plays all over the place online.
They were able to stop it for the moment, but no such luck for France. Big part of that XQC on that Reinhardt.
That is going to be the second checkpoint coming up here for Canada. Australia battling and swatted away. That was such a great primal range. It's basically a 1v1. It's XQC.
Yeah, of course. I see them in the street. I mean, I still live in the complex. I see them outside. They still invite me to like dinners and parties. I went to a party with the time we did today. It was pretty fun. They're still all my friends. Obviously, my teammates always get full immunity from everything. It's just like a philosophy that I have or something. When someone's on my team and someone says some stupid thing about them or something that's like an insult or whatever, I'll always back them up. And since they're still for me like my last team, which is in my head, my current team. They still get I still back them up. I still support them. I think if I ever speak about like the problems that we had or the structural problems or the things that held us back, now that I have more freedom to do so, like I'm not, they're not gonna be angry at me or cut me if I say it. It can be sort of good for them to sort of, since I have this outside voice now, like, look, when we did this, it was so bad. Like, how about this? I didn't say it when I was on the team, but now I say it. And it could open up, like, certain, like, avenues of thinking for them. But other than that, I'm happy with my time with them. And obviously it's a business. So being on a team that has a sponsor, like Jack in the Box, or like some of the other teams that have a sponsor now, the decision of keeping a player or firing him becomes a little trickier when you have sponsors, because all the people that have money above and they're like, we're losing money. This dude is affecting what we're doing, and it can be a little trickier. And I understand the business perspective, so I respect it. I'm still upset about it. Not upset, but still kind of I want it to be in still. But it is what it is. And I'm ready to move on. I guess both times it was different, but the second time it was, hey man, they don't know what they're gonna do, but things are happening, and then I'm like anxious. I'm like, okay, what's happening? Like, what am I gonna get? And it's like a wheel of fortune, like, okay, I get 4K, okay, I get 2 weeks, it's like I have no idea what's coming, but I know it's coming, right? And you never know when. And then I thought it was going to be on Tuesday, but it's announced Thursday. And then it's on Friday. And then out of the blue, I get an email. It's just, it's an email. It's the intent. That's the punishment that they're going to go through in a couple of days, right? In the official statement that they're going to put out. And then at that point, you can appeal or not appeal. And the time frame was pretty short for the second time, but I don't blame them. They had other people to punish, so they wanted to go through all of it at once, not to make it like all scattered, like punished, and it would I think it would have been stupid. So that's pretty much how it went. Basically, I hear murmurs that something's happening, get an email, get punished. It's not a requirement, but I feel like it's a big missed opportunity if there is some spice, like not some scripted spice where it's like, hey dude, what do you think about this guy, like do you dislike him? Not something like that, more something like if there's something that's already in place, like some rivalry or whatever, just question about it and create the spice. That can be really cool. Obviously there would be missed opportunities if those weren't followed up and were like even like more shut down anyway. But on top of that, I think in the rule book or whatever, it was talking about defamation and don't speak about a certain player or a certain team or a certain franchise in a negative way or like in a defamating way, right? And I feel like this is like so broad. I mean, this is pretty obvious, but this is so broad that I feel like something sort of like banter could be seen as very, very like, oh, this is good banter. This is nice. Oh, he got roasted. Or at the same time, it could be turned. The same thing could be negative. It could be turned in such a negative way, right? As it could be turned into, if people perceive it as like a defamatory thing, then you can get punished for it. If that makes any sense. Like, I feel like you want to achieve banter, but at some point the rules are so strict that you're gonna get defamated for it. So it's not really worth it. Like, you're not gonna go through with it. There's no point. And I feel like that sort of vigilance creates a very unknown climate. Like, people don't know like the limits really. So even for me, like the fate and envy thing that I said, it wasn't meant in any negative way possible, but it was turned in a negative way when I received the punishment email, and that really just got me just kind of sad, because not only for me, just for other players. What if someone as polarizing as Sinatra says something that is sort of a banterish, you know, like it goes like really far on the banter, and if it's spun in like a negative way by the community in the response, then it's defamatory, and you know, he gets banned. And I think that's kind of unfortunate. You could sort of lose a lot of potential here, and then it sort of like forces like scripted stuff, which is, I think, complete garbage. But yeah, let's move on. I think it comes as no surprise to anyone that the information that was out there was like outdated. Some clauses got fixed. When I received the document the first time at the Player Summit venue, basically, we weren't very happy with it because it made no sense really. It just felt like the people that were in Overwatch League were going to benefit like a lot from the one hour before, 1 hour after rule. Make no sense at all. So me and other players pushed to get that fixed and get other things that made no sense fixed, and they did fix it. They were responsive to it. That was really cool. Obviously we had to, you know, the people that care were like the streamers, so you know, me and certain others, so we still had to push for them. If we didn't, it would have, you know, it would have affected streamers down the line, you know, because it would have been set in stone at that point, if that makes any sense. So I think that's cool that they responded well to it. As for the other streaming rules, I think some of them are, you know, a little too strict, but I do understand where it's coming from. And now, from hindsight, anyway, I can understand the audience they're trying to grasp at, and the reach they're trying to get, the limitations they're trying to implement, so it doesn't hurt that vision. In a sense, it leaves less space for, I think, creativity or sort of more diverse stuff, but at the same time, that doesn't hurt a lot of people. It really doesn't. That would only hurt someone like me or like 2 or 3 others out of, you know, the 100-something players, right? I think it's a common thing in other leagues. I think in League of Legends or in COD, where you can't stream during the league, which makes a lot of sense, because it's just so. Let's say you have someone like a Ninja or a Shroud that pulls a huge amount of viewership, right? That goes like a huge amount of viewers. On his own, he could destroy the entire viewership of the league, or destroy its momentum anyway, or its growth, which is super bad. So, from my perspective, or other players' perspective, if they get like 1,000 viewers or like 2,000, it doesn't really make sense. Like, they're not going to hurt the viewership that much, right? Because it gets like 120, 125k, right? But like I said, if you did have a Shroud or did have a Ninja, then it would be disastrous for the league. They would be competing with the one dude. It makes no sense. Well, I have like a million ideas that I think would all be exciting. I think a big aspect that we're missing is the human aspect, where a lot of times you're going to see like a play or an after or whatever, but you won't really see like the player itself reacting. A lot of reason why people like watching streams with cameras on is that you see the player itself reacting to what's happening to him or what he's doing, right? I feel like it can be sometimes like a missed opportunity. Sometimes just it's not that big of a deal to just put his face, you know, I'm going in, you know, punches 2 off the map, let's go, you know, that can be really exciting to show. And sometimes we sort of miss those. The human aspect, which is really cool. Obviously the spectating can still be improved. The storytelling, I think the community is sort of on Reddit and stuff are sort of shaping it up properly. I think the ideas are all very good, where they're trying to like mimic Apex and stuff. I feel like currently the players, all they do in Overwatch League is walk on stage, play, walk out. And there's one that does an interview, right? And in the Apex, you know, there's like a lot of like pre-shows, like, you know, karaoke's and trash talk, you know, like some stuff that just, it's so kind of cringy that it makes everyone laugh. Like everyone loves to be part of it, and the chat loves it, the community loves it, and you can make it in a professional manner where it doesn't break the vision of the league, right? It doesn't break their standard of behavior. It can still be in line. It can still be really, really cool. And a lot of missed opportunities with the players where we never see their personalities or how they are really. You know, all you see is that dude that goes on stage and plays a video game and then goes back to the dugout and disappears forever, and then shows up, you know, in 2 days or in 2 weeks or 2 months, and otherwise he's benched and never shows up again. A lot of the personality aspect is lost, and a lot of players have a lot of colors to show but have no place to show it. And I feel like they have a lot of room to introduce stuff with players and skits and funny stuff that include the players. That could be really fun. There's a lot of opportunities like that. Bringing players on desk really brings a breath of like fresh air, something new that one time, and it can always be new because there's so many players, right? There's like 100 something. Always bring something. You can always bring someone new, and can talk about his perspective. Well, we lost that because this happened or whatever, so you have to wait till the video comes out like in a couple weeks or whatever. A lot of bench players right now are pretty in a sad state because they'll never be played, and they're like you know, like an old toy in a box, and they're just waiting there collecting dust, right? And it could be a good way to use them, and there's a lot of opportunities like that. Like, it's just one of them, you know. So I'm not as salty as feeling like if the rules change, I would be back in ever. That's, to me, that's I wouldn't do that. If for some reason they reverted the decision that they took on my previous ban, and I wasn't seen as such a big liability, and I did get an offer from a team or multiple teams, then I would consider, depending on a few not criterias, but a few factors, you know, how I'm enjoying streaming, how did I enjoy playing, am I able to fully commit into scrimming if I'm starter, and there's a lot of things to think about. I love competing, I love being on stage, I love meeting the people, I love saying, you know, the entrances and the failures, the success, the team meetings, the emotion. I love all of it. And the price is very steep for all of that, and it's a lot of work, and there's a small part or decently sized part that's like really cool. Is it worth it? You know, I'd have to think about all of it before going back, but I'd consider it, of course. I do miss it. I feel like it's sort of like this like ghost of myself, like always behind me. Like, the stream was good yesterday. I want it to be better. I didn't have a good stream for a couple days. I want to have like a really good one. Sometimes I was down and it affected the way I was on stream. I want to fix that. I always like just push forward, and it doesn't matter what it is. Better player, better streamer. More content, more diversity, more something. I always find something to push myself, and I think it's just so exciting. Like, I'm in such a good spot right now. Not a good spot, but just an exciting spot. A spot where everything can happen, everything can crash down, or everything can rise, and I can be whatever I want to be, and I can become irrelevant and, you know, disappear. Or I can rise in one way or another, Overwatch or in general. And, you know, when I wake up in the morning, I feel like I have like a lot of power to what's about to happen, and I decide how I want to shape it up. And that's not something you have in a lot of domains in real life, like in other fields. I think I can become like like a pro or an entertainer, someone funny, or I could educate people or players about things. I could do so many things, and it's like I can't wait. Sometimes lately I've been skipping sleep. I've just not slept and streamed again at like 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. And it's not because I'm anxious, I can't sleep, I'm stressed out. To be really fair, it's just because I want to do more. And I have an idea. I want to stream, and we'll try that. And yesterday's stream was really bad. Let's do another. And I'm afraid of failing, but I'm also motivated by if I fail, it's gonna push me in the back. All right, as an exiting statement, I hope that the fuel succeeds. I hope that OG is what the fuel needed, and I hope that everyone will back up the Shanghai Dragons. Being down 0-20 is a big burden, but they need the fans' energy. Keep holding mouse 1 and W. Let's go.